So it's been a while since I did my Enlisted suggestion video, and this time I've decided to restart the program because, well, Enlisted has mostly done all of the weapons that I've suggested, and I think it's actually gone above and beyond its duty, so that's good for them. Of course, in today's video we're going to be talking about planes that Enlisted should add, mostly Soviet planes, because as of right now the Soviet Union doesn't have a lot of planes. Well, it does, but not ground attack planes. But that said, let's get started with the video. Of course, this video made possible for friends at Discord, and you get the drill. But that said, let's get started. The Polikarpov I-16. This was a groundbreaking Soviet aircraft for its time. When I mean its time, I mean the 1930s. The world's first low-wing monoplane with a retractable landing gear became operational. The I-16, or Donkey by the Soviet Union, was played significant roles such as the Sino-Japanese War, the Spanish Civil War, the Finnish War, and of course the Battle of Portugal. And of course, it was designed by Polikarpov. The I-16 featured innovation designs such as a retractable landing gear and an enclosed cockpit. It was optimized for speed and compact fuselage and initially used the M22 engine before transmitting to the powerful Wright and Cyclone engine. The aircraft was light, simple to build, and had advanced features such as flaperons. The prototype, the TKB-12, was first flown in December of 1933 with excellent maneuverability, but revealed the aircraft's sensitivity to abrupt controls. Basically, don't do abrupt turns. Despite early challenges including the spin behavior concerns and landing gear issues, the I-16 proved to be stable and capable. This Type 5, which was mounted with the M25 engine, became the fastest production aircraft of its time, reaching speeds up to 454 kilometers per hour. Of course, later variants would just bump up the speed, so that's that. Overall, it was extremely good for its time, the 1930s, and was used all the way up to and during World War II. That said, let's move on to the Tu-2. The Tu-2, or the NATO call sign BAT, was a Soviet twin-engine design high-speed bomber during World War II. It was designed to rival the Soviet Junkers Ju-88. The Tu-2 could carry a large external bomb load and had the speed of a single-seat fighter. Developed by Tupolev, who was during that time in prison, and later led the design team once he was freed. Yes, this guy literally worked in prison. The Tu-2 was based on earlier prototypes and then first flew in January of 1941. Production then began in September of 1941, and the aircraft reached combat units by March of 1942. Throughout the war, the Tu-2 underwent modifications and produced in various versions, along with around 2,460 built by 1952. It was the Soviet Union's second most important twin bomber after the PE-2, with the Tu-2 being well regarded for its speed and maneuverability and its durability. The Tu-2 first saw combat in late 1942 and played a significant role in the large Red Army offensives. It was also used by the Soviets until 1950. It was also used by the People's Liberation Army Air Force, or the Chinese Air Force, in the Korean War and various other units. The Chinese PLAAF deployed the Tu-2 for various roles until its retirement in the late 70s. After the war, the Tu-2 also became a testbed for Soviet jet engines. That said, let's move on to our only British plane on this list, starting with the Typhoon Mark 1BL. The Hawker Typhoon was a single-seat fighter in their service with the RAF in 1941. Early models had a canopy with significant framing and a side door for cockpit access. Later models, for better visibility, a new drop-shaped canopy introduced in September of 1943 produced improved all-round view. The aircraft was powered by a more powerful Sabre engine and equipped with four 20mm British Hispano cannons. These, despite initial issues, the Typhoon excelled as a fighter-bomber and a close air support aircraft attacking German airfields, communication lines, troops, and railways. The design was focused on protecting the pilot and vital systems with armor, making it effective for low-altitude operations against heavy AA fire. The Typhoon became notorious among German soldiers during the Normandy campaign for its ground attack capabilities. Production ceased in 1945, and it was withdrawn from service in early 1947 with a total of about 3,000 units. That said, let's move on to one of the most interesting vehicles on this list, that being the Yak-2. The Yak-2, or in some cases the LA-22, was a Soviet multi-role aircraft of mixed construction. Featuring a wooden wing and central fuselage, the beryllium forward fuselage and steel 2-bar rear fuselage. The engine had a cockpit in the nose and a separate compartment for the navigator and gunner. It was an odd prototype, to be exact. The unarmed prototype lacked heavy equipment, which also made it the fastest Soviet multi-engine aircraft at 567 kilometers per hour. Ordered into production as the BB-2-2 in March of 1939, the Yak-2 faced issues such as inadequate engine cooling, troublesome brakes, and an unreliable fuel system. Modification for its bomber role, including reposition of the navigator, gunner, and adding an armament, and the first pre-production model flew in early 1940. But it was a disappointment because, well, there were a lot of issues and there were a lot of interesting aspects. Despite issues, a total of 200 Yak-2s were produced. Variants included the Yak-4 with improved engines, but it was mostly built for reconnaissance and ground attack roles, although not a lot were confirmed. Notably, the BPB-2-2 dive bomber variant also had a same speed of 558 kilometers per hour, but it crashed during testing, so we are left with a Yak-2. But that said, that's all for this video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and join the Discord, and I'll see you in the next one.